Hello, and good morning. How is everybody today? It's your main man, Sean, something to write to Lewis. And this is the Best of Men podcast, episode number 2. And we are coming at you bright and early at 10:43 a.m. And sitting to my left is Dirty Dale. And rising from his seat is Mr. Brad, bringing the princess to the table. So how are you gentlemen doing this early morning where you come to my house and woke me up?
I'm doing a lot better than y'all because I woke both y'all up.
I think I'm awake now.
I'm fine now, honestly. I'm playing a role. But,
And we're ready for a nap.
So, what is
so
the Best of Men about?
basically this podcast is about what it takes to be a good man. I feel, not necessarily the men have it hard. I'm not going to say anything crazy like that, but I just feel we have a certain weight upon our shoulders that, we carry and that only we can carry, and I feel it needs to be discussed. I feel it's good for fellow brethren to come sit down and vent and talk because day-to-day life is hard. So this is going to be more of a therapeutic type
I want to touch on that, though, what you said there. Life is hard for men.
Life's hard for everybody.
I agree.
I want to say life is hard for everybody.
With that.
I don't want to sit down and be like, oh, this is bitch fest. This is going to be a good thing.
What I wanted to be basically was us venting, man. If we are going through something, I want us to be honest and genuine. I don't want us to disguise any of our feelings. I'm going to be more than open in them.
It is hard being a man, though, because we don't...
It's hard being a human.
All have good examples of what being a man is like.
Definitely.
And that's a big thing with me personally, man. I grew up, with multiple negative male examples within my life. So having a son now, I wasn't necessarily taught, and we're just, I guess, jumping right into some topics. I wasn't necessarily taught, how to be the man. So to be the man, I've had to learn
Yourself.
all of that on my own.
Yeah.
Exactly, and
not a whole lot nowadays. Not a whole lot of men, boys growing up don't have the proper father figure.
not at all.
No.
And so, first and foremost,
A lot of their father figures as well. Oh, sorry.
go ahead.
Okay, a lot of the father figures out there,
They don't set up.
they
prime
don't even
example.
have good examples
Right.
of father figures themselves. It's a generational thing. It goes down,
Definitely.
all the way back from forever, because everybody who's on this earth their ancestors have had kids, obviously, right?
What?
But, think about, these World War II vets being gone from their child's lives 4 or 5 years at a time. Think about, and then they come back into lives. And I'm not just focusing on vets, but I'm saying they come back into lives and not know how to be a parent.
Right.
Scarred from war.
Right.
Fucked
Just
up.
psychological scars and
And then they pass things on to their kids, which pass things on to their kids, and then you got the hippies in the
on
60s.
and on and on.
And then you got the,
all the
fucking
coke in the
hippies,
80s.
And then you got Reagan. Well, Ronald Reagan, man. His poor dad.
And then here we are in 2017 where we got fathers who play songs where they say Gucci Mane, Gucci Mane. No,
Gucci
just
gang.
dropping songs.
Gucci gang.
But, well, first and foremost, guys, I want to ask you, what are your thoughts on, what do you feel makes a good man? What do you feel a good man looks like?
It's like me. Just kidding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like
I understand.
that's changed in today's society. A good man could have fucking tattooed sleeves.
He
Be
definitely
a great
could.
father.
And a man bun.
Man bun.
Let me
nose
rephrase.
piercings.
What does a good man look like within?
Within, what is the landscape of a good man's heart? Oh man,
Very poetic.
there's a good quote from Don Juan Quixote.
I thought he was going to
Thanks,
say the
his
Don
name?
Juan Comic Con.
No,
What?
Don Juan.
You
I think
know
it's Don Juan Quixote. He said, I will only walk on paths that have heart, and if a path is not a path that has heart, it's not the path for me. And I think that is a good description of what a good man should be. Is a good man should be somebody that knows that he's doing right by at least his own moral guidelines.
I can dig that.
not having moral guidelines, I think, would next you from that.
I mean, that's a good point.
That is 100%, because that basically sums up my opinion on a good man. That I feel a good man has a code of ethic and set standards that he lives by and will not break them for anybody.
Yeah, personally, I like to follow the leadership acronym: loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, personal courage. If that sounds like something that might have drilled into my head in basic training, you might be right.
I can dig that.
I don't know.
What about you, Brad? What are your thoughts on what it takes, or what does a good man look like within?
Man, just being able to overcome anything from diversity to...
Like we're in church.
Really?
Yeah.
Praise Jesus.
Jesus.
No, we're not going to worship.
You're trying to listen to church.
We're not going to worship bang. No, I'm just playing. You guys can praise Jesus.
And pass back the mac and cheeses.
Praise whoever you want on the cast. I really doesn't
vibe.
Don't praise us.
Rid my dog of the fleas.
So, anyway, continue.
Well, man, I just
get me.
I don't know. I mean, it's kind of hard for me to explain, but just like a good man, I mean, like you said, has a ethics and like maybe a code of moral that they live by, and just overcoming a lot of what life would throw at you, and you know, staying straight on the path of, like, say, for instance, us, we all have kids, we have a family we have to take care of, and you know what you have to do in order to take care of that family.
I can dig that.
A good man always.
Just a side note, sorry, not to journey off topic, but also being a good man looks like high fives around a table.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue, sorry.
I don't know. A good man, in my opinion, just no matter what he's going through, no matter what he's dealing with personally, you know, psychologically, physically, you know, just always is set to take care of.
He has to maintain, you know, hold himself together through all of it, which is, I mean, for a man, period. For a human, it's almost impossible, borderline impossible.
That's why there's the word called support.
Yeah,
you're supposed to have a support system.
And I feel it's the fact that man tries.
I think also you should be true to yourself in a way that maintaining isn't is difficult. You know what I mean? Like, I got to maintain a lot of stuff, but I know what days I make myself kind of a schedule, so I know.
So you have time for yourself.
I can sleep and masturbate and
definitely
watch Game of Thrones and do the man shit that I like to do, you know, in the garage.
See, I definitely find myself a lot of times not doing that. Not the masturbation. I do that. I find time.
I have trouble finding the time.
I find myself a lot of times not giving myself the mental break I guess I need. I tend to just pick it all up and go and go and go, and then that leads to problems and drama with
breakdowns.
Right. You shouldn't do that to yourself.
Definitely.
Here's why. Everybody needs a break. You need a day a week, you know, and I know it sounds biblical, but I think in reality you just need at least a day a week to sit there and sleep and be a lazy fuck and to get yourself together. And the reason
my wife
for
would
that
tell you
is,
I find a lot of that not doing shit.
I think a lot of times you're overthinking it, you know, when you're doing that, because you're not relaxing. You're sitting there trying to figure out ways to hold up the facade, because it becomes a facade when you're that stressed out. When you're sitting there holding that up, you know, you're like, oh man, I got to think about the car, this, and this, and you're never giving yourself a break. You know, that's why it's important to be on top of.
It's kind of unplug.
You know, everything to where you can let it pause for a day.
Yeah. Easier said than done.
It is
sometimes,
much,
for sure. But
you want to be holding up a facade, or do you want to be, you know,
legit?
Because facades crumble.
Yeah.
Too legit to quit.
Yeah.
What is it? MC Hammer. I saw him live.
Did you?
Yeah, a long time ago at the fair. It's another story for another podcast.
Okay. Coffee. Do you have coffee?
I do have a coffee maker.
So you have coffee to put in it?
I don't know. I don't make it. My wife makes it. I don't drink it.
I'm just gonna. I'll wait. I don't want to go through the
Okay, so this is the part of the podcast. No, I don't care.
Okay, keep talking. I'll be right here.
Where
We'll probably
honestly,
hear you.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how you guys are going to feel about this particular part of the podcast. And it's not always going to be a part of it, but some ways as men that we feel, I want you guys to be real and honest, because what I want to do with this podcast basically is help other men.
Right.
You know, help other humans, period.
Of it.
And so, ways that we feel we fall short and that we can constantly improve, that we know we can do better.
There's always room for improvement. No
Definitely.
matter what you're doing. There's always some way to improve.
And I agree. I feel it should be a never-ending cycle of getting better and better and better every day, trying harder and harder every single day.
Go ahead. Sorry. My main thing is...
Dale is in the kitchen whipping the coffee. whipping the coffee. So if you guys hear that on the audio recording, that's what's going on. If you guys are wondering where Dale went on the video footage, that is where Dale went.
So my main thing is finances. I'm terrible with it. I'm so bad with money.
He brought the coffee.
I can't help it. You know,
hey, dude, I tell you,
I smoke a pack a day.
I'm the worst.
I buy coffee in the morning.
I feel like that's just a normal human thing, though.
Dude,
like, I cannot. Oh, it's all about responsibility.
I had no good examples of budgeting when I was younger, and so money is kind of meaningless to me. I saw,
well, it shouldn't really. I mean, in my opinion,
it's not meaningless. It's useful.
Money
tool.
is a man-made object.
Yes,
and it's used. I mean,
hold on, I'm going to finish the coffee.
For
continue.
A, B, and C. It's kind of how I look at time.
Yeah,
as an aspect, the whole premise of time, it's man-made. It does not apply to anybody else except who's on this planet. And for those of you that are listening, I do believe in more than one planet, M-class planets, different species, different races.
Which brings me to another question here in a minute.
Okay,
good job.
But with time, it's man-made. It doesn't apply to anybody but us, and it's not even a real thing. It's just how we keep track of our days.
I will fuck with time.
I literally hate time.
I do too.
As a man,
that's why I'm always late to everything.
I just feel like Peter Parker's always late. It's okay. You're not the only one. I can still nerd reference here.
Yeah, that's like
I'll take a glass too. To be honest, I feel like we should have coffee every time we record.
We should have a coffee pot right here.
Coffee all the time.
So anyway, I hate time as a man. I feel like there's not enough time in the day to get done what you want done, to do everything that you need in the week.
Time.
Can I just come throw a wrench in your ears there?
Throw it.
You can dodge a wrench.
You hate time because you're only looking at the negative aspect of time.
Yes.
Think about all those times you're like, oh my god, it's only 3:30 and I got off work. Oh man, I can go home to my wife and kid.
Come say that close to the cast, just in case I don't want them to hear that.
Think about all those times you're sitting there watching the clock at work, or you're not watching the clock at work, and you're doing your job, and time goes fast. You get to go home to your wife and kids. You're like, man, I'm so glad I got out early, and then you end up wasting your time. Yeah, thank you, time. You gotta put a positive spin on it, because if you're always like, oh man, I'm always late, this is what I've been doing. I've been late a lot recently. And then I realized, man, I got to just get up in the morning and do what I've got to do. I can't be wasting time.
Right.
And it's not always going to be as bad as I expect. I feel like we get this anxiety for things that have not even come yet. You're going to work, you're stressed out because you're going to be late. You don't know if it's going to be a good day or a bad day, but you're already getting this preset in your head. It's going to be a bad day. That's why when I wake up my son, not all the time, I forget sometimes, but I like to say, you have a good day or a bad day, it's your choice.
Right.
And I learned that. It's such a great tip, man.
Right.
Think about that in your head when you wake up.
What I've heard, man.
I feel like shit, but it could be a good day.
I heard this in a song, and
really quick, let me
finish.
Are you okay out there? Do you need anything from me? Brad's wife is currently watching my son. My wife's currently working, so we are still in real life as we are recording.
She's the real MVP in the background.
She's on what is this? Geek World Network daycare today. So
I forgot what I was gonna say.
That's fine.
Is it? I feel like I had a really good point.
Yeah.
I guess it wasn't important.
It probably was.
Here, let me remind you. Time.
Oh,
Or better. Oh, times they are a changing. I love that song by Bob Dylan. Thank you, Bob Dylan.
One of the things I heard, and it just goes in with your comment saying you can have a good day or a bad day. It's your choice. What I've learned is life is 10%. What life is 10% of what happens to you, and the other 90% is all attitude. And it's how you perceive what goes on in your life and how you deal with it through yourself, and through your emotions and everything like that.
So, are you saying... It's not this podcast.
Well, perspective.
Are you... So you're... just to clarify for the fans, I understand what you're saying. But you're basically saying that literally life can be good or bad depending on how
you
view it.
Right, from your perception.
Wow.
Yeah, but, that 10% of life, it happens to everybody. You can't stop it. Life is going to happen.
Yes, it is.
The only way you can make it or break it is how you view it, how
100%.
You see it, and how you deal with it accordingly.
Which is amazing. You could literally walk through this earth and enjoy every minute of your life.
You could enjoy every
depending on
shit
how
sandwich that life hands you.
You can just be like, that's a good shit sandwich.
Yeah.
I remember, this is why I stopped taking Prozac, right? Really, though. Because, that's great. You're right. If you tune your perspective, you know there's going to be good days, there's going to be bad days, but you have to work through them and live on and prosper. You know what I mean? The problem with society as a whole is we've got this fast food attitude. We want it. We get it. It's ours.
Yes.
We don't care how cheap it is and the effect on our bodies. So, when I was going through some depression when I was younger, it runs in my family. Everybody in my family, they get these deep depression moods. I can work through those now. I don't have to be medicated or want to be medicated at all. But there's a point in time when I thought I wanted to be medicated.
Right.
Because I wanted to feel happy.
Of course.
So I tell my parents, they get me to talk to somebody, and then I am on Prozac. I take Prozac for a couple months, and every day, I don't know, you ever read your horoscope, and it has like a 1 to 5 star day? It could be the shittiest. It could be a half-star day, and I would be walking on sunshine. I could wake up with dog shit in my shoe, and
we're not encouraging use of Prozac
or any.
Well, this was
just telling a story.
This was before they reformulated too. So this was back when Prozac was Prozac. You know what I'm saying? All right. So
anyway,
I was just walking around every day, oblivious to the fact, that I had feelings. Really, I felt. And it dawned on me after I stopped taking the Prozac, because I felt fine. And they asked me, "Oh God, how do you feel?" I'm like, "Oh, I feel fine." And they're like, "Do you want to continue the Prozac?" And I'm like, I don't think I need it, but I was always fucking stabilized by these moods, and like I said, the dog shit in my shoe, and I'm like, it doesn't matter to me. Instead of feeling happy or sad about things, I felt really nothing, and I felt. I was just kind of just walking around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't feel myself. And
like a lost soul trying to find a road.
Maybe maybe they had me on too high of a dosage or something like that, because I have, a pretty good sensitivity to medications and whatever, but I was chubby at the time.
Were you?
I was.
I don't believe you.
You've been chubby.
I have been. I've been a chubby buddy, bro.
He looked at me.
Yeah.
I felt like he was about to reference.
I've been chubbier than you.
I felt like he was about to reference me.
You're cute, though.
I have to say. Well, you spoke to me, so I looked at you. That's how conversations work.
Yeah,
Calm down,
I guess
dude.
so it is.
I'm not judging you, Sean.
I like my bod.
I do too.
I take my shirt off with my wife around and bounce.
Do you do the
yeah, except I kind of have a nice chest, so this bounces. This bounces too, but she really digs my upper. I know she doesn't give a dang about I look like.
She doesn't give you raspberries?
No, I wish. Not at least on my stomach, that is.
All right, so yeah.
We're getting off topic though. So
okay, so with what when you brought up the Prozac and saying that you felt like you just you wanted it instead of needing it
right
at a certain point in time, I felt the same way. Honestly, that's addiction.
Yeah.
And
no, that wasn't. I've never even been on anything. I just wanted to feel better. Are you saying that that's addiction?
No. Just because you said you felt fine, and then they asked you if you felt like you wanted to keep going.
Yeah.
And keep taking it.
No, and then I said I didn't.
Oh, you didn't?
No, because
never mind.
because I was like, well, I feel fine, so I don't need this. But that was like robot me who always felt fine
Right.
with anything, no matter what.
Yeah.
And then I get off the Prozac and I realize I'm like, oh, there was like a robot me who
Right.
was just like walking around on Prozac, and I'm not saying there's two different me's. I'm not splitting my identity here. I'm just saying that's how I behaved.
Right.
You know, there's Drunk Dale, there's Stone Dale, there's, you know,
There's Sober Dale.
Sober Dale.
I don't see him often.
There's wake up in the morning,
Oh
very
God,
tired Dale.
me. I wake up at 4 a.m.
Grouchy.
6 days a week. Okay, and let me tell you, I am the shittiest person in the morning.
Are you an ass?
I'm worse than an ass.
Your wife's telling me.
No,
that.
no, she's
That's
shaking
where
her
you
head
need-
in the background, and I already know.
That's
I don't
where you
have
need
to
wake
look.
up and say, look at these shitty circumstances.
The only
It's all
thing
your
that's shitty is
perspective.
I'm waking
It's
up
all your
real early.
perspective.
All
That's
about
a shitty
perspective.
circumstance.
Nothing else
Look at the
sucks. I
shitty
honestly have
circumstance
nothing to be mad at.
of waking
It's just
up
that
early.
I'm up and I don't want
Yeah.
to be up, and my body hurts because I have scoliosis and tilt the
You're gonna
pelvis
be
and a bad
fighting.
shoulder and bad knees.
You gotta fight yourself on that. You gotta say today's gonna be a very good day, and I'm gonna have some
Definitely.
coffee, and I'm gonna go on throughout my day working and jerking and
Yeah.
So here's a question for you guys. We talked about men should have morals or a set standard, a code of
Well,
ethics.
When you consider yourself a man, I believe you already have a set of morals that
That's my wife's.
that you have for yourself and that you live by. If you consider yourself
Yes.
a man, I believe. If not, then you definitely do need to sit down and make a list of morals that you believe in and that you want to live by.
where's your cup, Negro?
And if you're religious
So-
and you like Jesus and you're Christian, Pentecost, whatever you may believe in, go right on ahead. Then you believe in the Word, the Bible, which is great because it has a lot of guidelines and morals that
To each their own.
I used to live by before I became a man.
I mean, you got some men that
You're drinking out of this cup, bro.
pull their morals and codes from comic books and stuff. You
Yeah.
know, just whatever works
Well,
for you,
people- I mean,
basically.
That's almost the same concept as pulling it from the Bible, the Holy Bible.
Yeah, but you also need to see the perspective that,
The only difference is
and we talked about
The
this
name.
in relation to comics and stuff, but we also need to see the perspective of in real life. In real life, everybody thinks they're the good guy.
right.
You know, you got to look at other perspectives. You got to say, am I doing the right thing? Like, I chewed some guys out at work, and then I said to my passenger, I said, man, did I do the right thing by yelling at these guys? And then he was like, no, you were kind of off the hinges there. And I said, yeah, I feel bad about that. So this is when I pissed off all of Tent Crew. I go back and I bought them all bottles of tequila
I
as an
personally
apology.
don't agree with that all the way. I mean, I see myself as a bad guy a lot of times, but that's just because, like I said,
That
I
may
carry
not
the.
be healthy for you.
It's not. But this is what we discuss on the podcast, so I just figured
because you get to say, how do I correct this behavior?
100%. That's all it is. A lot of times, Dale.
Guilt yourself.
A lot of times, I definitely
may
see
not-
myself. Here, let me. I definitely find myself falling short quite a bit.
In
In
your mind,
in instances with my anger. That's something I struggle with as a man, very much.
it's not often I see you off the rock.
Oh, but you're not married to me.
Oh, well, that's true.
A what?
Sugar.
man, where's the sugar?
I don't know.
I'm so good at charades.
Come in this kitchen?
So I find myself, struggling with that on a day-to-day basis. I mean, just the wrong thing could happen, and 0 to 100, as that kid Drake
Well,
said.
it's your thought process.
What is my thought
No,
process?
it is your thought.
It is, and it is something I am working on.
It's
So,
how
on what you
perceive
said, what did he say?
You take sugar?
it. Well, the way that from your perception, from your
Yeah,
perspective,
You take sugar?
Yes.
is where because he's like he said, a lot of people, most people will consider themselves the good guy because you're coming from a different. not
I'm just
necessarily-
very harsh on my own human
Right.
because I expect,
You want
bar
yourself up here.
none.
Yeah.
So
You set the
Thank
bar
you,
high
bro.
for yourself.
yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, we're doing real life as we're recording right now, guys.
This is real life.
In real life, I don't wear these, so I will take these shades off.
I do,
But
but I'm on my head.
we got Dale making coffee in the kitchen. This is
This is real
basically
life.
just brothers coming together, being brothers, discussing life.
And if
so
it doesn't help you, I apologize, but it helps us.
that's fine. I'm drinking out of a Spider Gwen cup because that's what men do.
Man color. Burgundy.
Burgundy is nice. So anyway, I mean,
Fabulous.
Fuck.
Shade blind.
what's it called?
Magenta.
Because normal people know that.
I learned that off Blue's Clues.
I didn't watch that a lot. I was watching
Christ.
I did watch Blue's Clues.
I
I'm not
know
gonna
you
lie.
did. Come on now.
But
Dude, I wanted to be the next Steve.
Oh yeah, for Blue's Clues.
No, Blue's Clues was like after I was too old to watch.
Right.
You guys were just the right age.
we were.
Oh, okay. A whole 3-year difference there, Dale.
Yep. You
just
figured out.
So anyway, to further what I was saying though, I tend to put it, like I said earlier, all on my shoulders, and I feel that's why a lot of times I personally see myself falling short, and then I view myself as, you're a bad dude. You need to work on it. You need. So that's, I guess that's just me personally, but then that's what I'm saying.
That's a lot of
you know,
self-criticism. Which I'm
great
sure
at that.
men do that. Men in general.
We have to though. It's
I'm
who we
sure-
are. It's our pride.
I'm
It's
sure
our.
there's like a psychologist out there going like, these guys are fucked up.
Oh, he doesn't even know yet. Wait till we start
no
talking.
idea.
Wait till we get into sex life. Then he will know that we are
Boy,
up.
you.
I already know. I know. We all know here, but do they know?
They're about to find out.
Do you want to know?
You gonna learn today.
You're gonna learn today. God, dude.
What is this? Am I not here enough?
What?
Did you
What?
make me a cup of
I thought you had your coffee. Where's your coffee?
It's gone.
Well, give me your cup.
It's
Where's
over
your-
there.
I see a movie coming up. A blockbuster. Dale Man versus Brad Man. Come on, guys. I'm real big on the nerd references, as
Nerd
you guys
references.
know.
Thanks. Dale.
But yeah,
You guys want to hear a joke?
sure. Come tell the podcast.
I
a joke.
will. I'll tell everybody.
Dale's going to tell you guys a joke.
Some of you may have heard this already. If so, please bear with me. It has to do with my shirt. Mickey Mouse is on my shirt, just for the listeners who aren't watching. Mickey Mouse is in court, and the judge says, I cannot grant you a divorce just because your wife is silly. And he says, I didn't say she was silly. I said she was fucking goofy.
What the hell?
I have a joke. We're
Okay.
doing jokes.
Joke time.
What's the difference between an ass kisser and a brown noser?
What
You
is
want
that?
sugar?
Depth perception.
Do you want sugar?
Okay.
Sugar?
Yes.
Sorry.
Please. Thank you.
So,
No, you didn't.
let me
Sorry,
gather
Dale.
myself after your joke.
Did it mess you up?
Here's another question for you, gentlemen. Then,
us so on track. I thought this was
it is. I just really like to, man. I like what we're doing here. I really want to, you know.
I
feel
do
like we
too.
should-
I do too. Come on, keep
So-
it on track. Future track.
With
And
that
that's
being
my
said-
job. I am a natural
What are you, a conductor?
host, MC, master of ceremonies.
you like a
Ding,
choo
ding,
choo.
ding.
You like a choo choo train.
So, you know, we were talking about morals and codes and yada yada blah blah. I just want to know some of your own personal things that you live by,
What
things that you
lines
feel.
will you not cross, kind of thing.
Yeah, what are you about, man? Who are you? Tell me. Get nasty.
Get nasty.
Oh man.
Like for me, I feel like one, and for all of us, I feel one of them for sure should be number one is what? Family.
Mm-hmm.
We must provide for our family by any means necessary.
Yep.
You know, I feel like that's a common thing within at least.
No. You see, you got that messed up though. Any means.
Any means that's
is
kind
not
of
the
that's
right
very
way.
broad.
You cannot provide for your family by any means. You have to provide for your family with the best means.
The honest means.
I can dig that. Just by any means, that's usually how you heard that word. And so-
Right. But,
But-
you give people the wrong. Any means necessary.
When you're
means
down-
I can
when-
provide for my family with a shotgun as a burglar.
Right. Or
I
a
can't do
bank
that.
robber or
I mean,
you know.
not condoning any of that, but
There are some like
But
to
there
the
are
point
some
where there's
cases where people.
At sacrifice to your
Have
own
been kicked
body,
down
at
so much.
sacrifice to your own,
right.
self. Yeah, you're gonna.
because-
I mean, I'll
when
definitely sacrifice
if
my
you're
own
if you're that
personal body.
if
for
you're
my
that
family.
low and you
Yeah.
feel like you're that far at rock bottom to where you are okay with robbing a store or some
Which I
body
don't feel
else,
you should be at all.
right? No, not at all.
then you need to find a better example in life.
Because I mean, do you
Probably.
know where that leads to? Go ahead.
But I'm just saying
That
okay,
takes your family
you
away.
feel, okay, so say hypothetically this made up individual,
Matt Murdock.
Matt Murdock, say he already has a record, okay, for being a
great fighter,
an unruly adolescent child growing up.
He was not that.
Well, this is made up, dude. I don't need to know your superhero background and whatever. Okay, so he has a record, right? So he tries to go get a job because he has a kid on the way. And this gentleman can't get a job because he has a felony over his head.
Yes.
And he keeps getting kicked down. And then he gets an eviction notice and his lights get turned off. And his family won't help because, say, hypothetically...
So then that brings you into the category of by any means necessary.
If you feel like that's the only way you can provide, then yes, I get that. But they don't think about the long-term effect. Not only just you getting locked away,
but losing your family has to deal with that now. Exactly. Then who's going to provide for said family?
This all goes back to examples. So, what I'm saying is you got to be the example for your children. And
100%.
That goes so that they don't ever have to...
Let me get a little real with you guys.
Figure out by any means necessary.
My biological mother. Okay, I have one brother that's older than me, but he lives with...
Speak up to the king.
My biological grandmother. Okay? So, I was considered the oldest growing up. Now, when I was 4 and 5 years old, I lived out in Oolagaw in a trailer. And our trailer burnt down. So, we were homeless. They decided they were going to take a pull-along trailer, go off some dirt road in the middle of Talala, and then just make a path through these trees. Cut them all down, set the fifth wheel. Me and my little brother lived in a tent, okay, with a broken zipper in the middle of the woods on some unclaimed property. And she was a drug addict. And she always stayed in that camper doing drugs. And we ran around carelessly. We didn't have any type of no figure, right?
No schedule,
nothing, no agenda,
right?
And it slowly got worse as I got older. Yeah. Okay, I've had a horrible example from parents. Yeah. My biological father bounced before I was 1. She has always been from dude to dude, this and that. It was a horrible example, but for me growing up personally, it's like I already knew right from wrong.
Yeah.
And watching her do that, I was like, well, that's what not to do.
And I feel like what men need, like I said, is an example. And I feel like another thing men need...
Having a horrible example doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be one of those statistics.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, how are you going to know to do something you've never known to do? How are you going to...
How are you going to be a father if you've never had yours in your life?
You don't know what you don't know. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like
that sounds pretty self-explanatory.
This is your world perspective right here, and the world is this table, and you cannot see outside of the table. Like, you don't know what you don't know, right? When you didn't know about tying shoes when you were an infant, you didn't know, right? Okay. That's called unconscious consciousness or something like that. Hold on. So... You don't know. Unconscious and consciousness, right?
Unconscious.
That sounds like...
there's 4 steps to learning.
Okay.
There's unconscious unconsciousness, conscious unconsciousness, conscious consciousness, and unconscious consciousness, right? Let me break this down for you real quick. I swear, this is some good shit. This is going to help you out in life. Every time you learn something, you didn't even know about that thing at one point in time. Like tying your shoes. When you were a baby... You don't even know. You don't know what a fucking shoe is. You don't know what a shoelace is. You didn't know about tying shoes because you didn't even know that there was a such thing as tying shoes.
You ain't even know.
Right?
Sorry, no reference, bad hip-hop.
When you get a little bit older, you realize there is a such thing called shoes and they need to be laced up. But you don't know how to do it. So you know that you don't know. This is conscious unconsciousness. I know that I don't know. Right? Then... The third step
is what it is, my friend.
Is learning to tie your shoes. So now you know how to tie your shoes, but it takes you some practice. You're conscious of tying shoes, and you can tie shoes, but it takes some thought, right? But now you're an adult. This is the 4th step. This is unconscious consciousness, right? Which means you get up in the morning and tie your shoes. You don't even fucking think about it because you know it already. Right. You know it so well.
It's like muscle memory.
Or you could tuck your laces, depending on the type.
So how are you going to know something in life if nobody's ever even shown you the right way? And I understand that. Now, my point wasn't that if you don't have a good example, you're not going to live a good life.
Right.
I didn't say that at all. But if you don't have a good example, how are you going to learn what's the right way to live? So I want to say to all of our viewers that are men or that are women, that are people in general,
right.
I want to say to our viewers, I want to say
that are Homo sapien.
Find a mentor, find an older person who is living the kind of life that you want to live.
I agree with that.
And learn from them.
Yeah.
Become their friend.
Become their grasshopper.
Some of my best friends.
Hang out with old people.
Yes.
One of my
old
best
men
friends
are great.
Is a 63-year-old Vietnam vet.
Bam.
One of my best friends.
Told you.
63-year-old Vietnam vet. This guy is a great example of how to live. He's got a very nice house. He has good money in the bank. His health isn't great. So, I'm taking that as an example too. I'm like, man, I treat this guy like he's a father figure in a way because he's giving me great advice. I can go to him anytime and he'll say, in a situation similar to this, I might have done this, or if I was in this situation, I would have done this. I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm telling you this is what I would, or how I would have gone around it, or how I would have done it differently. And I take that advice and I say, man, that guy's got a good idea on life.
That's a lesson. That's a lesson learned.
Yes. So, you can learn lessons from other people and always find a mentor. Because that's really, truly a good way to get ahead in life.
Right. Which brings me to another subject, goat.
The goat.
Would you love to discuss that with the people?
Right off the top of my head, sure, why not?
First, let me... I'm not going to say that. First, let me mention your wife. Man, she's killing it. She's over here. I saw her making faces to my boy. And then I see her get up, run over here, get your daughter, and then come back. Good job. Definitely. It's
10 minutes.
10 minutes? That's fine. We'll knock it off in 10.
Okay.
All right. So you want to talk about the goats next time? I can be a little bit more prepared.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine.
That way we can talk about...
We're going to be recording this...
weekly? Bi-weekly?
Bi-weekly, I think, right?
Yeah, probably.
I feel that works.
Because I still got a fit family in my life, and I only have Sundays off, so...
Which also helps us strategize, because we got so much to do all the time anyway.
We're trying to get out how much content a week? 8 hours is what
8 hours of content
at
least.
That's more than an episode a day.
Yeah.
Well, if we... I'm not going to say 8 hours. I'm going to say at least 6.
That seems more accomplishable.
We're trying to get on some other stuff, doing some interviews.
Videos, skits.
Yeah.
Check out Let's Do an Interview.
Yeah, if you guys feel satisfied with this conversation, I can go ahead and drop plugs. You can play some more frames.
Yeah, you want to drop some plugs?
It was
go ahead.
Pretty sporadic, this conversation.
Sporadic.
Yeah.
I act like an addict. My thoughts are sporadic. What'd you say?
I said I appreciate all the people who came and listen.
Definitely.
Let's be sporadic because we can't always be high performers in the morning.
And if this is supposed to be about real life, I know people live by agendas, but it's like life, man. You're never really truly prepared for what's to come. That's kind of us.
Unless you're Batman.
Hang in there, guys, because we're hanging in there too, like the little cat.
Definitely, guys. Well, I'd just like to go ahead and tell you guys to check out our YouTube at Geek World Network, all one word. Our Facebook at Comiccaster or Geek World Network. And also hit up our SoundCloud, and that is Geek World Network.
Did you change it? You changed it? All right.
So yeah, go ahead and check that out, or just type in the Best of Men podcast or Living with My Wife, Batman and Hip Hop. Check that out. We do a live feed every Saturday, on Facebook.
And we rely on our viewers a lot of the times to tell us what they want to hear.
We love conversation.
So if you want to get in on the Comiccaster bandwagon,
there you go.
Go ahead.
We are the Comiccaster guys.
And I feel like it'd be healthier for us to talk about certain subjects that maybe the viewers would bring to our attention.
That'd be cool.
Because, in a way that's also
You're
helping.
You're not a man! Yeah! Tell me about myself. I have pride. I will yell at you back. But we really appreciate you guys tuning in. This has been... Not Living with My Wife, sorry. This has been
the Best of Men.
The Best of Men podcast, episode number 2. Catch us in, what is it?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. And we will be doing the same thing.
Always remember to like and subscribe.
Share.
Follow.
mention
Yeah.
hearts
Show
on
your
SoundCloud.
friends.
Invite people to come do what we do, to come listen to us. We love talking to you guys. We love hearing from you guys.
Is there anybody you want to see interviewed? Let us know.
Send us their info.
Nobody famous. We're not on that. We're not
Somebody famous.
If you can get us somebody famous, we'll interview the shit out of
Oh
it.
yeah,
Kevin
if you
Smith.
can accomplish it,
Please.
Yes. Kevin
I'm waiting. I am waiting.
I got questions for Ben Affleck. I do.
Why are you so good at Batman? And now why are you trying to quit? You guys might disagree.
My questions are: is your mother's name Martha?
Okay. Anyway.
name's Martha.
Frank Sinatra. Let's give him some music to go out on as you cut off the cam. Thank you guys for tuning in. It's been great.
Let me just hold on just for a second.
Just hold your coffee cup. Sway. Now we need somebody to push the camera. We need her to come around and turn it off.
No, we don't need to do that.
No? You're gonna do it?
I want to hear this song, man. I thought this was
Just let it
Frank
play then.
Sinatra.
This isn't the legit.
This is
Definitely a
such a
Travis
remix.
remix.
Yeah.
It's not. It's nowhere near as good as obviously Frank.
It's an obvious. It's like a really bad remix. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. The beat syndrome.
Yeah.
Not
Don't ever do
impressing
this
me.
again. When I say Frank Sinatra, next time play Frank Sinatra. Don't ever try to get flavorful with anything again.
Not so
Oh
Frank,
my
man. You
God.
can't do that.